What's up, everybody? Welcome to the K-pop Kimchi podcast, where we love spicy kimchi and spicy K-pop takes. I'm your host, Justin Turneau, with my co-host, Brian Limper. It is approximately 1:18 a.m. on Wednesday, January something, 2020, so happy 2020, man.
Yeah,
Even though I think it was 2020 last time too, but
we're like technically actually recording on a Wednesday for once.
I know, right? This is our first time, one of the few times ever we're recording on the day we said we're going to record. So,
And it just
claps
happens
for
to
us.
be.
Good job, us.
Yeah,
We're the best. We're the best.
that's really weird now that I think about it.
I know, it's really strange.
Normally, like we got to record on Wednesday, and it doesn't get recorded
And
until
then we
Thursday.
record like 12:30 at night on Thursday, the day the podcast comes out. But now, since we recorded a day earlier, it's technically the day we actually record.
True.
It's just really crazy how time works.
Time is an interesting concept.
It really is. But this is the K-pop Kimchi podcast. I'm Justin Turneau. He's Brian Limper. We never really said this, but if this is your first time listening, welcome to our awesome K-pop podcast where we just talk about whatever. And if you are a returning listener, then we love you. You're the best. And I honestly mean that a lot.
Yeah, thanks for shout out to whoever's in those other countries trying to download our podcast.
Keep downloading. We love it. Keep downloading. I see
Really
you out there in the Netherlands doing your thing. Down there
really
in Brazil.
Pad the stats.
Down in Brazil. Love your food. Keep downloading, everyone. I love it.
I don't really know what downloads mean or like how it correlates to like actual listens, but I mean it seems like it's something good. I don't honestly know.
The motto is more than zero, so
that is true. It's better, anything better than zero. So.
If it's anything better than zero, and I'm happy, and you know, we're doing our thing, so I'm happy.
It's true. I mean, like you said, it's better than zero. So.
But how are you doing, man? How's the week been? I feel like we haven't talked about life in a long time on this podcast, which we can do whatever we want, so we can talk about life. But how have you been, man? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Well, I guess I saw you like a week ago, but that feels like...
Was that a week ago?
I don't know. No.
I don't know either.
No, like 2 weeks ago. Sure.
I
don't freaking know.
It was like Christmas, right?
Yeah, so like a little over a week ago.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's weird. I don't know. Everything just kind of blends together.
Everything kind of blends together. But that's okay.
No, I'm doing cool. Just chilling. Haven't really been doing much. Getting ready to move back to Springfield here in a little bit.
I know it's really crazy that we're going to be podcasting in a few weeks in the same place, which is going to be the best because that's honestly the most fun part about it. Like when we did our, what was it? Our top 5 or the top 5 songs of the year.
Well, that and one where we did
our
guess
guest.
The bias game. My dad's at
Brett was our special guest.
Our official sponsor, Roll the Machinery Company. Thanks for letting us use your...
Oh, yeah, that was super fun. That was a blast, yeah.
Thanks for letting us use your conference room you made.
It was awesome. Yeah, so we've had 2...
Hydraulic hoses while you wait. So. If anyone's out there looking for...
They've sponsored many a basketball team.
Construction equipment, hit them up.
Hit them up, Roll the Machinery.
Roll Machinery.
This is
my dad.
This is a Komatsu household. Remember that.
This is a Komatsu household.
We'll get to some K-pop now, and we didn't initially know what we really wanted to talk about, but you brought it up, and we're like, hey, Red Velvet is like so awesome right now with Psycho and their recent comeback, and we love Red Velvet. Let's just talk about them. And I was like, dude, you hit the nail on the head.
We're just gonna do
that is what we talk about.
Not really a deep dive, but kind of like a summing up of like what Red Velvet is. So
yeah,
anyone who's not a fan of Red Velvet, or you've been curious about Red Velvet, or want to know more about them, we'll help you out. We'll help you do that. So this will be a Red Velvet episode.
Yeah, and I'm really pumped about that because I love them. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my top favorite K-pop groups ever, and they like will be forever just because they're kind of the group, the overall group that really got me into K-pop anyway. Just like really, really like standing a group and liking a group and caring about more than just listening to the music. That was Red Velvet for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's really because like I've said in other episodes, I got into it when I started listening to like 4 Minute and stuff, but I honestly don't know that many. Like I don't even know all the members of 4 Minute or anything still. So
Yeah.
it's not like they're like the biggest like influence like on what I listen to, but we
Right.
both really got into Red Velvet. So
Red
I'm
Velvet.
gonna say Red Velvet
Red
is
Velvet
definitely
was
the.
like the first ever K-pop performance, like stage, I guess, I ever saw. So it
Oh, same
wasn't.
here.
Yeah, like the first actual stage was Red Velvet performing Ice
On
Cream Cake at
yeah, on a Dream concert.
Dream Concert. Like that was the first performance dance concept. Like that was when I was first introduced to pretty much everything about K-pop was Red Velvet, like with the concept, the dance, the members, and all that stuff. And that
I
was
was
the
gonna
moment I was like, wow, I want to know everything about this forever now.
I was gonna say that might actually be because I remember we showed you some of the music videos of this like actually might have only shown you the music video for Bubble Pop because we were like listening to it, and after that I think you might have actually the next thing you might have seen might have just been the we might have shown you Dream concert and that was like it.
Yeah. I
So yeah,
remember, yeah, just as far as like performances, Red Velvet was the first. I mean, it wasn't like the first K-pop song I heard because that was Psy, but I mean,
I think that's everybody's first song
that's
ever.
everyone's first song ever. Maybe that is like the birth of music. But yeah, Red Velvet at Dream Concert was like the first time ever, and I remember making a playlist after that and putting just a lot of their songs on the playlist. Not really knowing anything about them, but just putting a lot of songs on the playlist because I liked them. And then you got more into them, and then I got more into them, and that was when all the standing and all that started. So like really, as far as like K-pop goes and being a true fan, it all started with Red Velvet.
Yeah, same. But before we talk more about our experience with Red Velvet, we can give you a little bit of background information on them for anyone who doesn't know who Red Velvet is. Because I mean, I don't know who's listening to this, so maybe you don't know who Red Velvet is. Because
If you don't know who Red Velvet is, you need to find out who Red Velvet is and
and
do
we're gonna tell you.
your research on your own. But we can give you some tips on who Red Velvet is.
So for starters, Red Velvet is a 5 member group
5 members.
from SM Entertainment, and they're like SM obviously is one of the bigger like first, I guess like not really mainstream, but like popular companies that produce groups like Girls' Generation and like Super Junior. Was HOT from SM too?
I'm not sure.
I feel like
Let's
they
see.
might have been because I know that they were like one of the big people that like first like got K-pop like spread like big because that's like where a lot of the well-known groups are
Yeah, it was
from.
founded in 1995.
Yeah,
So
so I mean it's like one of the original like big groups that like had groups and stuff. Um, but they're a 5 member group from SM. They used to be a 4 member group, but Yuri was added in 2015. But let's see, who's the first member? Would be the leader of the group is Irene, which is her stage name, and her real name is Bae Ju Hyun.
Beiju
And she's
Han.
the, she's the leader, main rapper, lead dancer, vocalist, visual, and center. And I mean, if you want to know which one she is, just look for the most beautiful person, and it's her.
Honestly, speaking about Irene, one of my favorite idols ever, but I have never like this is just like scientific fact. I'm not even like drooling over here. I've not like seen a more beautiful human being. Like she is like all the idols are so gorgeous, but she is literally a work of art that was like sculpted because she's just perfect. She's literally a perfect person. She's every like all her features, her hair, her eye, like she is so beautiful. And that's like really what she's like a huge part of what she's known as is being such a gorgeous person, but
Just being a really good-looking person.
she's just still like blows my mind seeing videos and pictures of her. I'm just like, man, that is a real human being. I cannot believe she's really just on a pedestal. Her and Sohyun from AOA have just like the two most gorgeous, perfect people that cannot be beat by anyone. They've reached like god level of beauty, and that is just Irene.
It's funny
She's just so pretty.
because we always talk about how like obviously we have our favorite idols and we like follow certain idols and stuff. But then we'll like see a picture of Irene or they'll like send me one and I'm like, wow, I just completely forgot she's the most perfect looking person of
Oh
all
yeah,
time.
like I love Irene, like just as much as anybody. Is she like one of my top idols that I stand? Probably not. She's not even my bias in Red Velvet, But yeah, you send me a picture, a GIF or something, you're like, wow, the most perfect human being of all time who cannot be touched because she's an angel and the most gorgeous gift to God's green earth. Like, I can't doubt it. Like, Irene is just the most beautiful human being ever.
So yeah, if you ever watch any videos and you see a very attractive
You'll know.
person, you'll know it's her. Like, there's no mistake. I mean, they're all attractive, but you'll know.
No, they're all, and just like all the idols from any group are all beautiful, but Irene just is just her own, I don't know. And when I think of like leaders too in K-pop, I guess if you're just like, all right, 3, 2, 1, like a leader in K-pop, I always think of her first. Like, there's a ton of awesome leaders from all these awesome groups, but Irene is always the one that comes to mind first. It's just like, yeah, she's a really great leader for her team.
Which is also weird. She's like really quiet. She's also very, I don't know. She's kind of, if you ever see her on like any type of show or like any type of, I don't know, like they're not really performance, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like when the variety shows are like getting interviewed or.
Yeah.
She's kind of like always like kind of shy and like keeps to herself. She's not like the main person that like is super eager to like talk or like, you know, get noticed. She's just kind of in the background.
Like, she's a little more just quiet, and she just has that. She's such a like small human being, like stature wise, but she just carries herself and has that presence. Like even when I was with you and we saw them at their fan meet a few years ago, she just like has that presence of like when she speaks, you're just like, oh my gosh, I need to shut up and listen. Like this is the boss. Like she kind of just like presents herself in that way, and I guess that what makes her like a good leader because she's kind of just like quiet and there, and she like knows what's going on. She knows what everyone's doing, and yeah, I don't know. Like she's kind of intimidating in a way, honestly, just because she's Irene.
It's true. She has that look where she's like, oh, God, she's going to kill me if I say something bad.
Oh, I know. I'd be like, I do not want to accidentally, like, make bad eye contact or I'm done. It's just over. I'm sorry. I just want to tell her I'm sorry, and I don't even know what I'm sorry for. Also,
fun fact about Irene, her favorite hobby is doing laundry and ironing.
She's all-pro first team ironing.
Like, she just likes to, like, do that for fun. She just likes to iron stuff.
One of the first episodes of Weekly Idol we ever watched was Red Velvet on there, and that's what they listed as her talent when they were running over everyone's talents. She's like, yeah, I love the smell of fabric softener and ironing. So they brought out an ironing board, and literally for the rest of the show, she
made her iron. They just sat there and ironed
stuff. That was when I knew that K-pop was for me.
That's when I knew it was real.
I was like, this is the best. That's so funny. She was just she was just sitting over there ironing. They weren't even like talking to her. She was just there ironing the clothes.
You can do the next one. We can just alternate members. And you can say whoever.
Let me pull up the thing because my freaking phone erased it. So Irene, how old is Irene? She's like older than us, isn't she? Like
no, I think she's like around my age.
Yeah, she's like
I guess she's older than you. She's
like a little bit older than me. She's our age, so which is actually pretty cool.
Earlier, I'm old, so
it's actually pretty cool because obviously a lot of the idols we like are like quite younger than us. So it's cool to have someone just holding it down for the underground. So shout out. I mean, Irene and
Wendy actually they're all kind of
I was like, no one in Red Velvet is just like a child. Like they're all pretty old, in a good way. That's not a knock at all.
Compared to other groups, they're more like I guess mature.
Yeah.
They've been around for a little bit.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, they're just.
Which is funny because a little bit's like 2014, so it's like not even.
Yeah, I know the life of just K-pop is. The time of K-pop is so different than normal time. It just blows my mind. Like, man, they've been around so long. 4 or 5 years. 6 years now.
Dude, like, it's weird. It's like dog years, dude. Like, 1 year in K-pop's like 7 years in the real world.
It's true. That's actually spot on. Because some of the bands we listened to were like, oh, man, I love this song. It's from, like, 2003. Like,
yeah.
It's like, wow.
They're like, oh, I haven't heard the song in forever. Yeah, it's like 1996.
It's like, that's an oldie, and it's from... Yeah, the late 90s, and then you're like, yeah, like that's an oldie from Red Velvet, and it's 2015, and that was 5 years ago now, like just now 5 years ago.
Like it's crazy.
But the next member for Red Velvet is their main dancer, I think one of the best dancers in all of K-pop, and that's Seulgi, and that's actually her name, because her name is Kang Seulgi, and she is also a lead vocalist.
I feel like that's just like they just give that to anybody.
I think everyone in a K-pop group is a lead vocalist.
Yeah, for real. It's just like, oh yeah,
sings. And Sulgi is my bias in Red Velvet. She is my favorite. Initially, she wasn't. She wasn't my first bias in Red Velvet, but over time, not too long, she became my bias because she's really funny. Really seems like kind of all of Red Velvet. They just seem a very like down to earth group. They're just like kind of normal. They just kind of do normal things. It seems like you're not. They're not getting caught up in like a. They're not like getting caught up in a bunch of like drama or like controversies that we know of. But and I never see like their fans on Twitter. Like I said, from what I see, like the Revelovs, like I never see them in any like crazy fan wars or just like calling out other fans or being bogus about like award shows or being mad. I never see any of that. And I think that just kind of stems from Red Velvet. They're kind of just like, yeah, we're like one of the best K-pop groups in the world, but we're just chill. Like we're just chilling. We're just having a good time. And
I definitely feel like out of most of the groups that we listen to, outside of their like just overwhelming beauty, they definitely feel like they're like the most like approachable group where you just like go talk to them and they just be like, oh yeah, cool.
I agree. I definitely agree. Like that totally seems like you'd just be cool to just be like, oh hey, like Wendy or Sogi or Yuri, like any of you guys is like, what's up? How was your day?
Like it's like walking down the hallway, just like, oh hey, what's up?
Besides maybe like, Irene, I wouldn't be like petrified with fear to try and go like say hi to one idol because I'd be like, not that they're not superstars because they are, but they just have that kind of calming, chill presence about themselves that you're like, yeah, I totally would love to hang out with them and just like watch TV or like go on a walk at the mall or just like do super basic stuff with.
Yeah, like they just seem super cool.
I think I'm trying to see.
My favorite stuff is whenever they're like doing dances, they have to like do like dance to songs or something, you know, like variety shows or like when we saw them at like the fan meet and stuff.
Yeah.
And like you can always tell when Song is just like feeling herself and she's like dancing, like going off, and then all the other members are just like laughing.
It's just so funny. And then instantly when the music's done, that like crazy dancer just like stops and she's just like normal and like laughing at herself. She's
just
like,
super embarrassed.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so embarrassed for myself.
Pretty much.
She was born in 94, so she is 25.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're all kind of around the same age.
She's around our age too, which is I mean that's like definitely something that's kind of cool too is people more around our age. But I love Sylvie.
Going back to Irene for a second, she hates like dancing and like doing stuff. Like Irene, she's not a fan of like doing the dancing and like doing the all that stuff.
It's just funny because she doesn't like do a ton of dancing and stuff, but then like
she always does the same dance.
When she does, it just becomes like a viral thing on all social media because it's just the impact of Irene. It's just like, oh, Irene like moved her hips 3 times. Like that's gonna be everywhere for years to come because it's that awesome. Like
when we saw her at the fan meet.
Yeah, exactly.
But she'll literally do the same dance to every song. Like every single song, she does the exact same thing. Which I mean, I'm not complaining about. But
no, I'm not complaining either. It's awesome.
It's just funny. You're like, oh, what's she gonna do? It's the exact same thing every time.
She's just a pro. She just like has her go-tos and they're perfect.
Yeah, she knows.
She's literally a perfect human being. Like that's pretty much what this episode is about: is Irene being a perfect human being.
That's just the title of the episode. Irene is perfect.
Irene is perfect, and so is everyone in Red Velvet. But Irene is just on another level.
It's true. It's
just funny because she's not any of our like main biases, so you know we're being real. We're not just like, oh yeah, such and such is the best, and they're our absolute favorite. Like Irene's not any of our ultimate bias, so.
No, I honestly don't know if she'd even be like top 10 biases, to be honest with you.
I'd have to think about it. I mean, I love her a lot. It's just I don't know. I can't think that far down on my top 10 bias list after like my first couple, but I definitely put Solgi as probably like number 2 or 3. So she's definitely up there. I have a big poster of Solgi in my room, and it's really dope.
Dude, you should have a bunch of big posters that I gave you.
I have a lot of posters. They're just not hanging up yet. But I have 2 hanging, and it's Solgi and then one of Hyuna. So that those are just the ones that made the cut to actually be on the wall.
Dude, ball is life. It's just it's just a hard fought battle up there for the camera time.
It is, but Solgi will always have her special place in my heart. She's awesome. Just so like. I don't say like normal because I don't want to sound like she's not like super interesting or anything, but they just are so approachable, like you said, and I think that's just a huge reason why they're so popular.
Yeah, they're just like super chill. They're fun. Super cool. It's just a super cool group.
They
Real
really
cool
are.
guys.
And then next is my ultimate bias wrecker.
Is my bias though,
Your bias in
which
Red
is
Velvet.
Wendy,
Wendy
the main
Sun. Wendy,
vocalist.
we hope you heal from all your injuries that you suffered at practice at the
Oh
one award
yeah,
show. That was
that
I
was
just want
rough.
everyone that was a part of that was like in charge, that set it up, or the people that built the stage, or the boss, or like the PD. I want them all to be fired and put in jail, because how are you going to get Wendy like seriously injured? You are terrible people.
You
Go to
are
jail.
terrible
They
people.
should have to go
All
like
right.
work in a coal mine for the rest of their lives.
Well, now that's out of the way.
Yeah. Just pissed.
Wendy, or Sun Sungwon, is actually from Canada.
She's Canadian.
So I think I've said it in another episode, but she's like one of the reasons that I liked her more was because she spoke English, so I knew what she was saying.
Yeah.
So I gradually paid more attention to her because I was like, oh yeah, well I'll know what she's saying when she speaks. So I started watching her all the time.
Right.
But she's also another member, just super down to earth. She's super cool. I'm trying to think of how to describe her. Well,
she's
I mean,
really
if you ever
just nice. She's really kind. She has a really kind heart, and she always puts the members first before her.
I definitely
she's
say
kind of like
she's
the mom.
The mom of the group.
Yeah.
But if you are watching videos or listening to songs, if you ever hear anybody hitting those high notes or those really power vocal notes, that's 90% of the time that's going to be Wendy.
She's arguably the best vocalist in all of K-pop.
Yeah, I was gonna say she might be the best main vocalist in all any group in K-pop.
She's so good.
But yeah, Wendy's awesome. She's my main bias in there. I think we've also said in other ones that when we first started getting into K-pop and different groups and stuff, that I was super into Wendy and Red Velvet.
Yeah, that was your ultimate bias for a while.
That was my ultimate bias for
bias,
really
not
long
even
time.
just Red Velvet.
Until I stumbled upon that one video.
Yeah.
Of the ponytail video that just changed my life forever and made me a man.
That just that's how it happens though, man. The video, you don't find the videos, they find you.
Yeah, but Wendy will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's such a bias record to me. It's just ridiculous because you see her just doing something nice for one of the members, and you're like, oh my gosh, this breaks my heart. You're the best.
And she's always happy and smiling and in a good mood. She's kind of when everybody else is being kind of a Debbie Downer. She's always there, and she's to pick everybody up.
Yeah, it's just always super nice and super positive. That's why I don't understand why anyone would say anything bad about Wendy, because she's just literally nice all the time.
Yeah, but Wendy's awesome. I wish there was more to say, but I mean,
they're just great. They're just great human beings.
Yeah. Who's next on our?
Next is Park Soo-young, and that is probably the most, I don't know how to say it.
I'd say she's probably the most recognizable member right now, to be honest with you.
She is Joy. Park Soo-young is Joy. And she is the visual. She is the visual and lead rapper. I didn't even know that. I didn't know they had that many rappers, but and I'm sure she's a lead vocalist too, because everybody is. But she is the visual. That is her job in Red Velvet, and she makes it very well known that she is the visual.
Yeah, she does.
Joy loves the camera time.
She loves the camera, and she loves acting sexy on stuff. That's
she really does. She doesn't have any. I mean, so a lot of idols act kind of nervous about stuff or embarrassed, which that makes 100% sense. But Joy, she's just diving head first.
She just doesn't care.
She's just you know what? I'm just gonna go out here and perform and do my thing because I'm the best.
I guarantee you, if you don't know who Joy is, you've probably seen a GIF or some video of her dancing to Havana.
Yeah, she was the queen, king, whatever of the Havana dance when that
she
was a thing.
Blew that song up.
She's actually gonna have she's actually gonna be featured on one of that lady's songs. I saw she's gonna sing with her. I was that's awesome.
Joy Vana.
Yeah, she was the best dancer to Havana out there. She was awesome.
Yeah. She's That's what she's well known for, is dancing to Havana. So I guarantee, like I said, I guarantee you, if you don't know who she is, you've probably seen her dancing to Havana.
Yeah. She's been like an actress and been in some like dramas and stuff too. So like she wasn't there when I saw Red Velvet because she was filming a drama, so she was like busy. But yeah, she's gorgeous. I mean, she's really hot and she knows it. Like it's not even a disrespectful thing to say because she's hot and knows it. I think she's
the tallest member of the group.
She seems like she's really tall.
But like I said a little bit ago, I think she's definitely the most recognizable one of all the members. So like, if you like saw him, you definitely be like, yeah, that one's Joy. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say she looks different, but she looks unique compared to the other members. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know she's the visual. You definitely know she's the visual of the group. She was the maknae for a little bit.
She was.
When they debuted, Joy was the youngest. She was the maknae.
Was the maknae.
It was hard to beat Joy back then too because she was like super young and still like
chubby Joy
growing up, so she had like chubby cheeks and it was just really funny and adorable. And we always like shout out that Joy is like just an awesome like form of a K-pop idol.
Before she reached her final form,
she's just like a drop dead. I mean, she's a gorgeous human being.
Yeah, chubby Joy's awesome.
It was so funny.
Happiness
was the best. I miss Happiness.
Oh yeah, Happiness was good.
What a great debut. But that brings us to the actual maknae now, and that is Yerim.
Kim Yerim. She's a vocalist, another rapper, and the maknae. Apparently, they just have a bunch of rappers.
Apparently, there's a rap group, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, apparently
I knew Irene and Yuri rapped. I didn't know Joy rapped. That was actually new to me.
Yeah, there's a bunch of if you watch the video, I mean, I guess if you listen to the songs, Joy raps a lot after Irene raps.
I guess I just never really even noticed it, but good for them.
Then Yuri's English name, she loves being called her English name or like telling people her English name.
Oh, all the time.
Which I guess would be her American name, which is Katie.
She loves Katie.
She loves being Katie.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know if she ever like.
I think she just picked it.
She just was like, I'm Katie.
Because there's a lot of members of different groups who like they pick English names.
Yeah.
Why I don't kind of like how she said her English name's Cindy.
Interesting.
Like Jiwon, her name's Megan. They just like
shout out her. That like fits. I'm like, dang, you are Megan. That's a good call.
Yeah, I mean most of them, if you see their English, kind of like remember when you go through all the Super Junior English names, and I was like, yeah, they match.
Yeah, I was like, that makes sense. That's totally you.
But she's also really good at speaking English.
Yeah.
I never really understood why she was good at speaking English. I don't know if it's just because she was younger, so she like kind of grew up and like just took English classes.
Yeah, maybe.
So as far as I know, she's just from Korea and she's always been in Korea.
Yeah, she just probably had English as a kid or with SM.
Yeah, but like if you watch videos and stuff of her, she like just speaks like perfect English. And like even when we saw her at the fan meet and everything, she just speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
She will talk to strangers in English too, if you've seen any of their like videos.
Oh, she loves doing that. She'll just like.
And she like introduces herself as Katie, and she's like, "Hi, my name's Katie," and she'll like just like talk to him in English.
She'll just like go like talk to like a little kid and their mom, and be like, "Hi, I'm Katie," and then just like pick up the little kid and like hug him and stuff. She's just super loving.
Yeah, Yuri's awesome. She's one of my favorite members in the group too. She's one of the ones that we've definitely seen grown up since like she first started as like.
Oh, I know. She was like my first bias in Red Velvet because of that stage at Dream Concert. She was like my favorite person that I saw. I was like,
that is true.
Gosh, like that's like my favorite. Blah blah blah. And then like over time it changed, but yeah, Yuri's definitely grown and she's a gorgeous human being. It's crazy.
I feel like she's pretty mature because man, she went through a really hard time after the whole Jonghyun thing.
Yeah, that was tough for her. It was really sad. Just like, I don't know. I mean, I really felt for her and what she was going through after all that.
She definitely said some like really sad stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember they asked like when she was getting her driver's license, like what she was gonna do, and she said she just wanted to get in a car and drive away.
Just like drive away and not do anything. Like, leave. Yeah.
And I remember when we saw her at the like the Red Velvet thing when they're asking her about like if she'd ever write like love songs or anything, and she's like, I've never experienced that before, so I can't write about that. I was like, damn, that's so sad.
She's honest. She's definitely
honest. I know. But yeah, she always just had like random comments and stuff. I'm like, man, she's just like super sad. Hopefully someone goes and talks to her.
I think she's
But
doing better. I hope she's
she
doing
seems a
better.
lot better now.
And she is definitely one of the prime examples of like the savage Maknae who just like throws like jabs at the other members like all the time. Just
Oh
like
yeah.
I feel like she just definitely handled that even more than being like the cute, adorable Maknae and funny like Eggio and all that. She's pretty much just like a savage from the start.
Yeah, because I don't ever remember her being like overly cute or like doing Aegyo or anything.
I don't
from
remember that either.
That's like what Joy does.
I was like, I feel like Joy handles that because none of the other Red Velvet members really do that at all.
Solgi's pretty good when she does it, but it's definitely whenever anything comes to, like being cute or anything, it's just Joy.
Joy just really just embraces it and just like jumps 100% in, and like the other members are like do it, and then they're just like instantly like Wendy will just be super embarrassed of it, but Joy,
Yeah, Wendy hates it.
Joy's like, yep, bring it on. I'm ready.
She just loves
I'm
the
ready to
camera.
do the Eggyo.
She loves the attention.
She does. She does.
Really, Yuri does too, because I remember when we saw her. Well, I saw her at like the Revelove Festival or whatever it was, when they came for the show.
Yeah.
And she was just like super hyped whenever she got the microphone. She's like, "It's Yuri time! Everybody clap!"
Everyone clap for me.
Yeah, pretty much. She loves the attention too, but not as much as Joy. Joy just loves the attention,
It's the best. It's so funny.
and she plays it up too. So she's not embarrassed. I can tell you that. She has no shame. But yeah, that's all the members of the group. There's Irene, Sogi, Wendy, Joy, and Yuri.
The best.
We talked about it earlier, but they debuted August 1st, 2014 as a 4-member group, and that's when they released Happiness. And that's when Yuri wasn't there. And then later on March 15th, 2015, they basically re-debuted as a 5-member group after they added Yuri, and that's when they had Ice Cream Cake.
Ice Cream Cake was the first like CD comeback, well, debut in a way, and that's when Yuri was there.
Yeah, and I know from like previous stuff and reading about it that like there's a lot of people that were like really upset that they like added another member.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you find those people anywhere, but I remember seeing stuff about that too.
Like they're like really, really pissed.
Even though, I mean, I don't know if it was the plan the whole time. I kind of thought it was, that they were like, yeah, we're going to have this other member. She's just like not quite ready yet or something. I'm not really sure. I'm glad they added her.
Yeah, I know, me too. But also, like I said in the last episode, I love like odd member groups.
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems better. But if you go watch any of like their old, well, not really old, I guess new videos, and they ask about like when they debuted and like all their stuff, they'll always immediately say like their debut was when they came out with the Ice Cream Cake.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
They debuted as a 5-member group.
That was when Red Velvet was like fully Red Velvet.
Yeah, so Irene will always be the first one to say they debuted with Ice Cream Cake, and that's like the debut of the group.
And ain't nobody questioning that. So.
Yeah, and then that's just it.
Like that is the final say.
Now, so the red and the velvet stand for 2 different concepts. It's like, I mean, I'll give you a basic overview of it, but it's like a whole thing. It's probably easier to just like look it up yourself, honestly, and like read about it. Because there's like a bunch of like interweaving, like weird, random plots and stuff, and like their albums and like their comebacks and everything, their videos.
Yeah.
But the red concept's supposed to represent like their bold and vivid side. So it'd be like more like their like, I guess, summertime like bubbly songs, like Ice Cream Cake, Red Flavor, Dum Dum, Russian Roulette, and like stuff like that,
Yeah.
And then there's the velvet side, which I mean, if you think of velvet, it's like smooth and silky, like elegant.
Yeah.
And that represents their like
it's more like
classy,
serious in a way.
Yeah. They're like classy, toned down side, which are some of the like B sides, like Be Natural, Automatic, and One of These Nights. And a good way to distinguish between both of them is, like I said, the red concept's kind of like they're like upbeat, like, dancey kind of songs.
Yeah.
And the velvet side's more like they're like, I guess, vocal heavy stuff, like really toned down, like kind of like trying to think of what type of music it'd be called.
It's more like kind of just serious and even more like kind of sexy mellow too, in a way, just like as far as like just It's just like darker. It's just darker overall.
like chill, like
Yeah.
more like a jazzy melody kind of thing than like a really heavy like upbeat
Yeah.
bass driven song. Like you can definitely tell the difference. Like
Oh,
I mean,
you'll know listening to the songs if you've never heard songs before. Like you'll know which ones are the red side and which
which
ones are
one's
the
the
velvet side. Which is like a
um,
genius concept for a K-pop group. Like that's excellent SM. Like I always thought that was very cool. It's just like literally their name is Red Velvet, which is awesome, and each word in the name means a whole different like 50% of one and 50% of the other. And I was like, that's like perfect. And then they can make all, and it allows them to like they make all sorts of music too because they
it's kind
can.
of almost like having two different groups, but they're
Yeah.
one group.
Yeah, and I always thought that was like I was always when I first learned about that, like learning about Red Velvet, I always thought that was like the coolest, awesomest way to set up a K-pop group. I was like, that's perfect.
And then you've got like some where they kind of like do both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Songs like I guess you could include in that would be like I'd say like Bad Boy or like the new song Psycho that came out.
Yeah.
Those are kind of examples of like them being Red and Velvet at the same time.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like a more, I guess like I said like upbeat kind of song, but it also has like really nice like vocals.
Yeah.
And it's not like super crazy colorful or like vibrant or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean they pull it off really well. It's a really cool concept.
It's really good, and they've been killing it.
Yeah,
I mean, they've really like they've had good stuff. Like some of their stuff recently hasn't necessarily been my favorite, but I mean, once they came out with Psycho, when the Reve Festival finale a few days ago, that was just like it. I was like, okay, they are just back.
But yeah, that pretty much sums up kind of like a basic outline of what Red Velvet is and who the members are. Like I said, if you want to know more, it's probably easier than me trying to explain it to you.
Yeah.
To just like look up Red Velvet like concept, because I mean it's like a whole thing. Like it even goes into like their music videos and like the whole albums. Like each of their songs represents something.
Right.
And there's like plot twists of like this whole storyline of like Irene and like I don't know. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out if you're interested in that. I suggest you do it because it's kind of cool. Although it's not like necessary to like enjoy the music, but it's just kind of like an extra little thing that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just like a fun bonus. It's just like a super in-depth detail that they have going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, not every group has that unless you're EXO. I think it must just be an SM thing.
SM
EXO,
just likes to do like dive deep into the names and all that stuff.
Like EXO's got the craziest story of all time. They all have like superpowers and they're from like different
Like
planets.
heroes.
And they like came together to like save the universe. Like
There's
Captain
the
Planet.
Avengers before the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's freaking nuts. That's another one. Go look into the EXO things. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, the basic concepts, Red Velvet, that's them. We told you our biases already. Mine was Wendy. His was Sogi.
Yes.
I really suggest watching the like weekly idols or the like idol rooms or really any of their stuff because they're really funny on
Yeah, they're awesome on Variety. That's when I like fell in love with them was watching them on variety shows. So definitely.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
that's like when we both started. That's how we got into variety shows. Is we were watching them on variety
I was
shows.
watching Red Velvet on variety shows, and that's when we're like, all right, we need to really like all this K-pop thing because it's awesome. Like that was when we
Like
really
Red
like,
Velvet?
loved K-pop.
Red Velvet was like the actual like big door that like led us into what K-pop is.
100%. Like opening that door was it. Like there was no
Even
other way.
we were talking about it on the last episode, I think, where we said how if it wasn't for Red Velvet, I wouldn't even know who Twice was.
You know, yeah. Anybody, literally anybody else, even like guys or girls. It was just like
If it wasn't for Red Velvet, I wouldn't know who Heechul was.
And that is just the saddest thing of all time, of not knowing Heechul. So we like needed Red Velvet on our K-pop fan journey. Like we needed them.
Yeah, otherwise it'd just be like, oh yeah, cool, there's music, like awesome.
It's
Like,
just like, yeah, like cool songs for a playlist. That's nice.
But Red Velvet was definitely like, okay, this is like, if you guys have ever seen Alice in Wonderland, she like goes through that tiny door and it opens up all of Wonderland to her.
Exactly.
That's exactly what Red Velvet was. It like opened up this whole door to like, I mean, you remember like, I'll see if I can find old pictures. I had so many Red Velvet posters up
I
in my
think the
apartment.
first poster I bought you for Christmas was a Red Velvet poster from Rookie. It was like a
Yeah,
promotional.
I had so many Red Velvet posters.
Promotional photo from Rookie.
And so many Wendy posters.
Yeah.
So many Wendy everything, really. I had a bunch of Wendy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and even when we did find out who Twice was, we were mad because they were beating Red Velvet and things.
I know, I was just like, who is this dumb group that I've never heard of, but I know they're a group and they're winning awards over Red Velvet? Like, that doesn't make sense because Red Velvet's the best.
Is there anybody better than Red Velvet? Like, I just don't understand. Nothing makes sense. But yeah, Red Velvet, we owe a lot to Red Velvet. Really everything, to be honest with you.
It's just weird. It's actually just kind of crazy. As much as we like K-pop and everything, you just literally can go back to like them as like a singular group. Like usually when you like stuff, you can find different parts that you can put together of why you like something so much. But literally for K-pop, you just go back to Red Velvet, and that's it. Like, it's like, okay, we liked Red Velvet. We saw them perform at Dream Concert. That's when, like you said, it literally was a door that you opened, and we just ran right through it.
Literally, if it wasn't for them being on the opening act of Dream Concert and we seeing them, I don't know if we'd even be into K-pop.
Most likely, like, wouldn't be. We wouldn't have this podcast. We wouldn't watch videos. We wouldn't like the music. It's really wild that it all comes back to them.
It's like if you have a funnel and you turn it upside down and the small part's on top.
Dude,
that's Red Velvet.
Exactly what it is.
And then you drop it, you put anything through it, and just like it gets bigger as you go down. That's Red Velvet's the very top. Like they're like the neck of the funnel.
I will be depressed whenever the day is. I hope it's never. Or it's just a long, long ways away. But whenever SM decides to, kind of shut things down and disband them, I will be depressed.
This is gonna be a sad day.
I may just be
it's
done
like a piece
with
of me
everything.
dying.
I may just be done. Everything might be canceled after that because I will be so sad.
Yeah, that'll be a tough day.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. So I feel like SM kind of just keeps people around. So I don't know if they'll actually ever be like, oh, Red Velvet's disbanding.
Yeah, because Girls' Generation still.
They're still like technically.
They're still
around.
technically a group.
Yeah.
Super Junior's still around.
Yeah, and they still are doing stuff.
But
I think Red Velvet has like a ton of years left of doing stuff.
And they're also still considered one of like the top 3 most popular groups. So
yeah,
it'd be weird to get rid of them.
It doesn't make any sense. They're killing it, and they've only been doing better and better as time has gone on. So
that's all right. So we'll wrap that portion of it up. And now
we can list some top 5 songs to close out the episode.
We'll get you a list here of our top 5 Red Velvet songs.
Because what's a K-pop Kimchi podcast without a list?
Dude, I freaking love lists. It's like my favorite thing. It's just like making lists. I make lists of everything.
It's perfect. And now we get to do it for the perfect K-pop group, so it's the best.
It's true. I'm actually really interested to see what your top 5 is. I mean, I feel like it's not going to surprise me. Like, I feel like mine probably won't surprise you either, but it probably won't be like what you think it is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mine are all title tracks.
I don't know. It's like 2:30 in the morning.
It is really late. I didn't even realize. I'm just like really reconsidering. I was like, Twice became my favorite K-pop group when I saw them, but now we're doing all this talk. I'm like, damn, I just really love Red Velvet.
Oh, dude,
I'm just like,
people,
damn, they're just like the sickest group of all time. And now that like Psycho brought them back to me, like as like a super, super dope song that I was like love. I'm like, damn, they're just the best. I love.
Imagine any K-drama you've ever seen where a person's walking across a crosswalk and just gets destroyed by a vehicle out of nowhere. That vehicle's Red Velvet, and we were the people like crossing the crosswalk.
Left, and now we're coming back, and it's hitting like a brick or a bus or anything.
Yeah, it's like a Red Velvet's awesome.
It's like looking at all these pics and stuff. I'm like, man, they're just the best. They're so cool.
It is, and there's okay. So another funny thing is there's 5 members. I'm like, oh man, 5 members. I don't know if I'm ever gonna remember all these people. Because even when we listen to the other type of music we listen to, like, you didn't really need to remember anyone outside of, like, the lead singer, because, like, who cared?
Yeah, and you kind of just, like, figured it out over time, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's Jeremy, the bass player, whatever. Like, who cares?
But it took, like, years. Like, it was, like, an automatic thing.
Yeah.
And then I remember we saw, like, bigger groups. I'm like, oh, my God, there's so many people.
It was
like,
intimidating.
I don't know. It was crazy. There's, like, so – but 5. Looking back at it, I'm just like, wow, 5 members? Like –
yeah, that's easy money now.
That's, like, a third of, like, half the groups I would listen to. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it was nice, too. I think that was part of it, was it being 5 and, like, it being intimidating at first, but picking up the names pretty quick because there's only 5 people. So we got to know them and then them as individuals faster than a group with, like, 9 or plus more people because it just was easier to remember 5 people.
Now it's kind of like anything underneath, like
12.
You know, like the 12 to 10 range, just kind of like, oh, well.
Yeah, it's like, you figure it out.
All those people.
Yeah, you figure it out.
Yeah, you want to go first or me to go first?
I guess I'll give my number 5 first. I kind of, like, didn't write it down, but I thought about it in my head, so we'll see if I can remember. Oh, yeah, I know number 5. Well, this is, like I said, mine are all title tracks. I mean, Red Velvet has the best B-sides of all time. Their B-sides are so freaking good and could be, like, title tracks. They're that good. But for my top 5 list, I'm just picking title tracks just because I want to. But my number 5, because it's such a special song that kind of introduced us into the whole world of everything K-pop, I got to go with Ice Cream Cake. It's
actually my number 5, too.
Is it really? Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I really love the song. Like, I'm not saying, oh, because it's special. I actually really like the song. Like, if they had it any other time as a title track, I'd still love it. It's a really great song, a really great beat. I love the concepts, and everyone's hair was very cool in this concept.
That's like when they had, like, dude, remember we saw them, they had, like, pigtails? It was all, like,
yeah, it was just a whole kind of, like, cheerleader pigtail, really
in the video, they all had, like, neon blonde hair.
They're in, like, the desert. I don't even know, but it's just, like, Ice Cream Cake. It's a really catchy song. The beat's super cool. I really love that song. I mean, I still listen to it. It's a mainstay of a playlist on my playlist.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like I said, too, it has a special place in my heart for being a song that, maybe the song that introduced me to K-pop. So that really introduced me.
I was, like, thinking about it. I'm like, oh, there's so many other songs that are, like, super good. But then I'm like, I got to put Ice Cream Cake on there.
Yeah, I couldn't disrespect.
It's a great song, but it's just, like, classic. Like,
it gets number 5 for me, for sure. So that's your number 5, too. So shout out us.
Yeah, that was my
We
number
did not
5.
plan this.
Ice Cream Cake. So do you want me to do my number 4?
Yeah, you go number 4. You go number 4.
My number 4 is Psycho.
Nice. Good pick.
This, it's a really good song and probably one of the best songs I've heard in a while. But kind of like my top 10 list, it's just, like, so new that I've had these other songs I've liked for so long that I just couldn't put it above those.
It's definitely earned a top 5 spot, though.
Oh, yeah. One of the best songs, like I said, I've heard, man, in a while.
Yeah.
It's so good. I listen to it every day.
It's so
I love the video,
I mean,
too.
I'll say this, it's not my number 1 either, but it will be one day. Unless, like, Red Velvet comes out with an even better song. Like, eventually Psycho will make its way to the number 1 spot on my list. So.
The top of the podium.
But it's on my list, too. But my number 4 is Dum Dum. I love that song.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard any other kind of song, K-pop song like Dum Dum. It's so upbeat. I love the rhythm to it and just the super high energy that it has. It is perfect when it comes to it. Like, is the epitome of the red side of Red Velvet. So I had to
such
go.
a cool music video too. They're like Russian dolls.
Yeah, the video is like so good and the concept is so cool. I love Dum Dum. I love the drums in it too. That is my number 4. What is this? What am I looking at? It's really bright. It looks like they formed a unit with the Produce 48 kids. I don't know what that is. They made a different group with Produce 48.
It's like a AKB48. They made like a mini group with like some of the members from that were in Produce 48.
Oh, that's awesome. That's smart.
Minami's in the group with Chibi Iri and Nanami.
That's awesome.
Man, that's great.
Seems like that's like a really good decision. People would
right?
Because they all were on the show.
So we're on my number 3, right?
Number 3.
My number 3 is "Talk to Me" by Red Velvet.
Great song.
Well, obviously by Red Velvet, since it's a Red Velvet episode. But unlike you, I did put in B-sides because my favorite songs by them are B-sides.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, but some of them are. But yeah, "Talk to Me," love that song.
That's a great
It's
song.
So good.
I love that song.
The vocals in it are
Definitely one
just
that could
really
be a title track.
Yeah, it's really good. I love "Talk to Me." I actually remember hearing it for the first time, and it was like I want to say it was like one of those videos where it's like people doing like random things. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like the opening where they're like introducing the group and stuff, and I was like, "What is this song?" And then I looked it up, and I'm like, "Wow, this is like super catchy. I love it."
It's super good.
But yeah, "Talk to Me," number 3.
Number 3 for me was "Psycho." That is my number 3.
Yeah, that's a good
Newest
one.
song. It's amazing. It's gonna be number 1 one day. Literally listen to it all the time.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so good.
It's such a dope song. The video's so good. The concept's so good. The outfits are so good. It's perfect.
It would be
I'm
a
just so
complete
glad
10
that
out
it's
of
so
10
good.
for me if Irene didn't have that weird headdress thing on. Like, it really bothers
She
me.
just looks super rich. So it's okay.
She does.
But it's so good. I had to put it number 3 though, kind of like you said. It's just too new to just automatically be number 1. It's got to earn its way up, but it will eventually.
Yeah. None of this instant gratification bullshit.
Yeah, you got to earn it. You got to fight for that. You got to fight for your right to party out there.
You got to earn that spot in the trenches. My number 2 is "Red Flavor."
Hey, that's my number 2 also.
Dude, yes.
The greatest summer song in the history of summer
It really
K-pop
is.
songs. It's the
Red Flavor is
best.
such a-
No summer song beats it.
That's the ultimate like definition of like the red concept from Red
Yeah.
Velvet. Like, it's literally called "Red Flavor."
Yeah, it's called Red Flavor, and it's got like a really nice like message to it too, like the actual lyrics of the song. But it's a perfect song for summer.
And the choreo's great, and the video's wild because like one of them's like a lemon with like it's blue
Yeah,
on the
they're all
inside.
represented by like fruits,
Like,
and it's wild.
Dude, like, it's just a weird video. but
Joy has like red hair. Yuri has like blonde hair. Wendy has like awesome ombre hair. It was just a great time for everyone. Anytime
So many
that
good
intro,
moments.
like you just hear the start of that song, it's like gets so happy.
with the bass line,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's so good.
Irene had like those weird bangs.
She had some crazy bangs going on.
Yeah.
It was working though. That is my number 2 also.
I can't wait to see what your number 1 is. I actually thought that'd be your number 1, so unless
No.
your number 1's Bad Boy.
My number 1's Bad Boy, yeah. It
Okay.
had to be. It had to be Bad Boy. I mean, I remember Bad Boy coming out and being like blown away with how good that song was. It's such a like awesome representation of like the Velvet side, like the more serious kind of side, the deeper, darker side, and it was really
That was
cool.
such a banger when it came out. Like, oh my god.
The beat is just sick, and the video is sick. Everyone looks super cool. That was when Solgi had like her giant overalls, like shooting the Supreme guns with
Yo.
money. Like that was awesome.
That's when Chubby Joy died and Sexy Joy was like born.
She was definitely on her way. I mean,
That's when she
because
had
there's
like
a bunch of moments like she's like really close to Irene, and you're just like, oh my gosh, there's just a lot going on in this video.
and that's when she had like her like one like iconic rainbow dress that she wore.
Yeah,
And then
I
the one
thought that was
black
peak.
one, she had like her like braids.
maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, it was a great time for everyone. That video is just really good too. And the song,
Actually, maybe it was Peekaboo.
yeah, because Peekaboo had the multicolor like rainbow kind of thing going on. Shout out Peekaboo.
I don't remember
That's a
that
great
whole
song.
like general area of both those songs just kind of blended together for me, but
Yeah.
they're both really good.
Yeah, but yeah,
If I had to pick a-
Bad Boy's my number 1.
I think if I had to pick an honorable mention, my first honorable mention would be Peekaboo.
Dude, Peekaboo, I feel like is a very underrated song of Red Velvet.
I feel like that's like the most forgotten song that they had.
It's
Like,
just so good. That was Peekaboo, and that comeback, just that CD was like the first kind of actual comeback too. Was when I was really starting to care about K-pop. They came out in like the fall, and like there was that. I was like, it was my first like Red Velvet comeback. I like really paid attention to because it was the first time they came back when I cared. So
I'm pretty
that
sure I
song
actually
kind of has a
have
special
the
place too.
album right there too.
Yeah, I think you got like the deluxe version. It's like
I
super
think
awesome.
I've got it. Now, I knew your number one song. Do you know my number one song? I feel like once I tell you, you're
Is
gonna
it
be like, oh,
My Second Date?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a great song.
That's like my
the best
favorite Red Velvet
B-side.
song of all time.
It's
yeah,
so
it's
good.
like
It's off that album.
yeah, it is. Also, if I get an honorable mention, it'd be Attaboy. I love that song too.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's like super different, but I love that song. But yeah, My Second Day. I wasn't sure if you know it or not, but I knew once I said it, you'd be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, dude, My Second Date is sick.
That's like my favorite Red Velvet
It's
song.
like the best song off the album.
Yeah, I know, it's good. Which is saying a lot, because the whole album is great.
It's so good.
Yeah, My Second Day. I freaking love that song. And when I saw them at their festival concert, they had that super sweet, dance break remix.
I saw a video. It looks super dope.
Oh, man, that was dope. Dope! But
if I had an honorable mention, I feel like there's a ton I could throw on there. I would definitely put on Happiness. I love Happiness. It's so good.
What about,
it stinks. It stinks because Yuri wasn't there initially, but I love that as a debut. It's such a good song.
I'm amazed you didn't put Sunnyside on there.
Yeah, that's another awesome one too. I felt for top 5. I just couldn't. It would definitely be on a top 10, but maybe not for top 5. I just had to go with the legends out there for the top 5.
Yeah, my number 5 spot was between Bad Boy and Ice Cream Cake, but
yeah,
I had to pick Ice Cream Cake.
I knew I had to have Ice Cream Cake on the list somewhere because it just is. It's really a special song to me.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's like I said,
it's a really good song too. It's not like it was like a bad song and we're just like, well, it's here just because of principle, but
it was literally the first performance I ever saw.
Was Ice Cream Cake. It has to be on top.
With their oversized sweatshirts and their little schoolgirl skirts.
And the tennis skirts. It's like the super best concept ever.
Yeah, that was awesome. Back in the day.
And when we just had no idea who they were on that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Who are any of these people? I have no idea, but this is the best.
The first performance, the first song I ever heard, I had no idea who they even were.
No idea. Did not know one member. Couldn't even guess to tell you what somebody's name was.
You also could have told me their names. I would not know who was who.
I would have guessed, but I would have gotten them wrong. If I would have got one right, I would have been a liar.
I would have been like Brett, that one. That's the one.
That's Joy. I have no idea.
That's back when Chubby Joy was still around.
Yeah.
Classic Chubby Joy.
But yeah, that's why Ice Cream Cake, it had to be on there because it's just so special. I love that song. It's the best.
Well, I'm glad that 2 or 3 songs were exactly the same.
I know. Shout out us for doing
That's going to be making song clips way easier for me.
I know. I'm just going to play the whole thing out here.
Just play the whole song.
Yeah, shout out to making song clips since it's going to be that easy.
Man, My Second Date's so good.
It's such a good song.
I love the opening and the chorus of it is so
it's such
just
a
catchy.
Good beat.
Yeah, it's awesome.
SM B-sides. Definitely gives them awesome beats.
Oh, their B-sides are so good. You could just make a whole album. Well, I guess it is what an album is B-sides. But you usually to take any of the B-sides off their albums and just make title tracks, and they'd all be
individual title tracks of all the B-sides, and they would be so sick.
Yeah, they're the best. Good job, Red Velvet.
Red Velvet's the best. I love Red Velvet.
Dude, same.
They're the best. I just really need to get I feel like I'll never get a tattoo, but I remember thinking about it one time. I was like, if I did, I'd probably just get the Red Velvet logo on my somewhere on my body, just super small, because it's
dude,
a really
go
awesome
get tatted,
logo,
bro.
And it's just so awesome.
Dude, you gotta go get tatted. Support your fandom.
I know. Support Red Velvet. Get the RV on there.
I need to go get my tattoos finished.
You need to get Eyes one.
I will. I need to get my other ones touched up and the other ones finished too.
Yeah.
I just haven't had time to do it. Yeah. But now that I'm moving back, I have all the time in the world.
You can do it. It's gonna be awesome.
I know.
It just takes so much time. Back, so that's good.
I know.
I'm so pumped when we're going to have our episode about their comeback and actually talk about them while they're promoting.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's going to be really crazy.
Man.
Literally from the depths of maybe not being, or from being rigged to maybe not being a group to we're back.
Dude, worlds colliding.
I am glad that they decided to still finish it out.
Yeah. They only got a year left, so.
Yeah. So why not?
Cash in on them while you can. Good talk.
It is a good talk, and Red Velvet's the best. I think that does it for this episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Hopefully you guys learned something.
Hope you learned something, and I feel like it's definitely awesome to go like check out too. It's like, yeah, we told you some stuff, but go check it out and learn so much more about them. Because Red Velvet really is one of like the greatest groups in the whole world ever. So learn.
Yeah, I mean there's like so much more stuff that you could like go look up that we like didn't even get into. This was just like a little basic outline.
Yeah, check out the songs. We'll have the song clips so you'll hear them then. But yeah, that's Red Velvet, man. One of our favorites. Always will have a special place in my heart.
One of the favorites. I mean, they did kind of fall off for me there for a little bit because, I don't know, Zimzalabim was all right, I guess. Power Up was good.
I love Power Up. That would like low-key probably be in my top 10. I like really like that song.
Really bad.
After Power Up, a couple of the comebacks weren't necessarily my favorite. They were still okay, and they were good and artistic and all that, but they weren't my favorite. But with Psycho, I was like, oh, man, this is sick.
Yeah, they really just like came back. I was like, this is Velvet I remember.
Yeah, literally, like you said, getting hit by that bus. That was them.
It was like just falling in love with them all over again. I was like, oh, man.
It really was. I was like, oh, my gosh. I texted you. I was like, I'm so glad they made like a song I really like again. I miss them. I miss like watching and like, I mean, I know it probably makes it sound like bad fans. It's not like I wasn't paying attention to them with songs I didn't like at all. I mean, I definitely was still watching their videos in reality, but like those songs just didn't hit the same as the way Psycho did.
Yeah, Psycho was that was a class act. That was a good one.
Good job, Red Velvet. Good job.
Good job, SM.
Seriously.
Sorry to all
you guys messed up a lot, but you know you're doing right. We're doing right with that.
What was the other song that came out? There's Really Bad Boys, Zimzalabim.
Oompa.
Oh, yeah.
That song was actually okay. Like, I didn't mind that. It was, like, okay. It wasn't my favorite.
Although I think I like Zimzalabim more than that one.
Oh, I was going to say, I think I like that. Zimzalabim was just a lot. I was like, I don't know about this. I think I liked Oompa more than Zimzalabim. Really Bad Boy and Zimzalabim were just like a million miles per hour, like in every direction.
Yeah, it was like a little experimental,
which is cool. Just, I really like Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho's good.
Psycho's
real good.
It's so sick. And for anyone who said it sounds like a B-side, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're wrong because it's the best.
And I also love B-sides, so that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but. Well, that's just what's dumb is people try and say that, like, oh, it's a B-side, and, like, they're trying to, like, diss it. And, like, dude, B-sides are sick, too, you know? Like, don't try and disgrace the name of a B-side.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, is that an insult or a compliment? Or
like, oh, that sounds like a B-side. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I think you're trying to throw insults out here, but B-sides are sick, too.
So, I mean, I'd take Talk to Me or My Second Day as like a title track, like any day of the week.
Yeah, if they put that on a CD and said it was a title track, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, yeah, B-side. Like
B-side.
Like B-side is not a bad thing, but it's just shows how good all of their songs are.
Yeah. Joke's on you guys, because I love B-sides.
It's just the classic people on the internet trying to be Debbie Downers.
It really is. They're trying to down my Debbie, and I don't like it.
Which is never fun in the K-pop world.
That's so funny.
Down your Debbie.
Why have I never said that before?
I've never even heard that. You need a t-shirt because that was brilliant.
I know, right? Don't down my Debbie, man.
Don't down my Debbie, dude.
You're harsh and mellow.
That's so funny.
Man, that's so funny. Gosh, I'm a funny person.
But, yeah, I know. We're just the best. But on this episode, you got a nice little look into life, I guess, of us talking about how old we are, and you got to learn about Red Velvet, so...
What a full day.
What a crazy episode from start to finish.
I know. It's been a long, winding road, but we got there.
We somehow just found our Old Town Road and made it.
We made it. Is that like a song by somebody? I keep hearing that. Like, I've heard about that. Like, what is that?
You're sounding old again, but yes, it is.
I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's a song, but
okay.
I think it's about bedtime.
I had to ask the dude at my work the other day about if Travis Scott was one person or not. And he's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Did you think it was a couple people?
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, Travis Porter was 3 people.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's one guy. I'm like, oh, well, I've never heard of him, so I don't know.
Yeah. He's like a rapper, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there you go. Travis Scott. Now you know.
Travis Scott, rapper. Check him out, but check out Red Velvet more because they're better. So, all right, I gotta quit yawning. All right, social media. What does your social media go?
Fograw TOHB.
On all social medias, please follow him. Communicate. Do whatever you can.
Send me some emails.
So, we have an email too. That's sick.
Send me some emails.
That's like professional. We have an email
about how old I am and how crotchety of an old man I am at K-pop Kimchi Podcast at gmail.com.
Do it.
Insult me all you want. I don't care.
Send whatever you want. Send gifts because gifts are the best.
Yeah, send me a bunch of gifs of your favorite idols so I can judge them.
In the best way.
In the best way possible.
My social media is Justin TOHB Instagram. K-pop Kimchi 101 is the Instagram and Twitter for our podcast. Hit us up if you can with any suggestions. We're open to everything. And that'll do it. We love all of you. If you're new, come back. And if you're still coming back, you're the best. You're our family. We literally love you more than our own family, especially Brett.
Yeah, especially Brett.
For Justin, that's me. And Brian, peace.
Later.